One and all. We would like to remind everyone that COVID-19 is still a danger, so please do not relax safety precautions. Wearing masks, sanitizing, and maintaining physical distance will help you stay safe and healthy. A hearty welcome to students, parents, staff members, alumni, and all others watching us live. This webinar on wellness and well-being offers a platform to address and debate on a topic that impacts us at every stage of life as children, teenagers, adults, and senior citizens. The plethora of information that is available leaves us confused. We do not know what to do and what not to do. So, we at St. Joseph's Boys High School have joined hands to turn wellness into a lifestyle which can be followed easily. Wellness is an ever evolving thought of change and growth. It's an active process of becoming aware of and making choices towards a healthy and fulfilling life. I would like to quote Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. Health is not just being disease free. Health is when every cell in your body is bouncing with life. I personally believe, and most of you will agree, that a good laugh and quality sleep without any sign of Netflix or Xbox are the two best cures for anything. Prayer is hunger for God's presence in our lives. Prayer is a thirst for His divinity, which inspires us to stand strong and live without fear. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukbhag bhave. Mrs. Rosalind Chang will lead us in prayer.
Kindly join in prayer. Dear God, as this evening unfolds, we humbly seek your guidance in our thoughts, words, and actions. Most gracious God, hold us in your caring arms and embrace us with your immeasurable love so that we may imbibe positivity, wellness, and well-being. Thank you for all your blessings, for the gracious gift of good health, family, and friends, for all those who are here with us today and those who are far away. Thank you for your abundance and grace, for being with us every single moment. Almighty God, grant us the patience that we need to remain calm and courageous in difficult times, and help us believe and understand that you know what is best for us and our loved ones. May the peace of God dwell within us and the joy of God uplift us. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Rosalind. Our principal, Reverend Father Sunil Fernandez, is an embodiment of fitness, swasthya evam arogya combined. His persona exuberates energy, peace, and joy. I request Father Principal to share his wellness mantra with all of us.
Dear students, parents, staff, alumni, and well-wishers, a very warm welcome to all of you at today's webinar on wellness and well-being. Well-being depends on several factors, and is closely associated with diet, a peaceful mental state, and adequate exercise. The coronavirus pandemic has forced us to make many drastic changes in our lives. While many of these have had beneficial effects, it has also had a negative fallout in terms of mental health. However, it has given us a chance to reevaluate our needs, be they spiritual, physical, financial, or emotional. The first century Roman poet Juvenal once said, "Anima sana in corpore sano." This translates as a sound mind in a sound body. In today's world, nothing could be truer than this 2,000-year-old saying. I'm happy that this webinar has been organized to address this issue faced by all of us. We live in a generation where we have access to more information than we can handle. At times, this can be overwhelming. Therefore, webinars such as this, streamlined to address the topic at hand, will give us a clearer understanding and help us organize our lives better. We are very grateful to Dr. Sangeeta Pandey, Professor Ameena Zarar, and Ms. Manju Goel for putting together this timely webinar that will, without a doubt, be very valuable to us all. As a Jesuit school, we are especially mindful of cura personalis, a Latin phrase that translates as care for the entire person or caring for the whole person. Usually, we understand it in the context of co-curricular activities, sports and academics, tying it together. In schools, we also add moral and spiritual growth. The overall wellness and well-being of a person refers also to emotional health, something that is increasingly coming into focus. We need to be spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally aware of ourselves. Everyone cannot be happy all the time, and there is sometimes an excessive focus on happiness as an end result or a permanent state of being. Wellness and well-being not only lead to happiness and contentment, but also, more importantly, minimizes stress and anxiety. I welcome all of you and our speakers today and look forward to learning more about this important topic. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening and an enriching webinar.
Thank you, Father, for sharing those valuable insights. We have with us today eminent personalities with rich experience in their respective professions. We look forward to listening to their views on how children, parents, and teachers can cope in the new normal, and particularly how parents can maintain their sanity and fitness while engaging their kids and working online from home. You may post any questions you have in the chat box, which will be answered by the guest speakers at the end of the session. I request Mrs. Hemawati to introduce the guest speakers.
Our first speaker today, Professor and Wellness Coach, Ms. Ameena Zarar, is a clinical nutritionist. Her work revolves around holistic health practices and diet advice to promote a state of optimum health. Having worked with more than 5,000 people with health disorders seeking wellness, she has helped them combat lifestyle disorders and get back to sustainable health practices for a good quality life. Professor Ameena Zarar is also a visiting faculty and a behavioral trainer associated with many colleges and works with young adults in the field of food safety, nutrition, leadership, critical thinking, communication, and self management. She believes in being a lifelong learner and entrepreneur. I now invite Ms. Ameena Zarar to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Hema. I would like to thank Father Principal Sunil Fernandez and the coordinator, the Vice Principal, Mr. Uday Kumar, who handheld us through all of this preparation, and the moderator and all the other technical team and the staff who have been with us to support us. And a very warm welcome and good evening to all the participants to this very important webinar. As we would all agree, health and well-being has become the highest priority for all of us, but we have little or no knowledge how to optimize it. Under all circumstances, our body should be in the best condition to withstand changes in our environment and age. And therefore, we have to go back to our basics to understand how to use to the best of our ability the time and available resources. Here, I would like to quote the World Health Organization defines health as a condition of physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental well being, and not merely the absence of a disease. Let us understand how some of the great philosophers in history have laid emphasis on this extremely important topic of wellness. The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but will rather cure. I would like to share this presentation, 1 minute. The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but will rather cure and prevent disease with nutrition. These valuable words have come from Thomas Alva Edison, who has been one of the finest philosophers in history. And we all know his contribution in history apart from this. Wellness, a health and nutrition approach. Today you are here spending your valuable time to attend this webinar. What will you take away by attending this webinar? I would like to say, eat like your life depends on it, because it does. What does your food become when it enters your body? How to eat to live an optimum life? Sustainable eating plan for all ages. How can vegetarian diets promote optimum health? Why fruits and vegetables are important. Recommended snacks as a healthy choice. Coming to another important quote by Hippocrates, the father of medicine, our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food. Let us understand how our body is made. We are made of bone, covered by the muscle, which is covered by a layer of fat. And what keeps this together is diet and exercise. Our body receives food. What does it become? How does it read the food we consume? Energy-giving food, bodybuilding food, and protective food. we need to understand the kinds of food we intake. Energy comes from the amount of carbohydrates we consume. Carbohydrates is a fuel for the body and the mind. It is a very rich source of a very essential element called fiber, the fiber that keeps the digestive gastrointestinal system in order. The excess of carbohydrates consumed is stored for a rainy day, and that amount is always available to the body in times of need. In absence of carbohydrates, protein is utilized in the body, burning the muscle. Therefore, adequate amount of carbohydrate in the diet spares the protein for the more important tasks. So, as we know it, carbs. What are they? Rice, chapati, pasta, noodles. These are the most familiar terms. Let us understand how else can we incorporate a more wholesome and a more well-rounded supply of carbohydrates to our body. Oats, beans, whole grains, brown rice, barley, wheat, starchy vegetables, millets, jowar, bajra, and ragi are all extremely rich sources of carbohydrates. The amount of protein needed in the body is mostly used for growth, and therefore, protein is the main building block of our body. It is used for growth and repair. Our hormones are primarily made out of the proteins we consume. The muscle mass that covers our bones is made up of the protein that we consume. And above all, the air that keeps us, the breathing that keeps us alive, is carried into every cell of our body by the protein present in our blood. The protein in our body also helps us to fight diseases. There are two forms of proteins available to us in nature. One would be a vegetarian nature of protein, the other would be a non-vegetarian. We would understand the vegetarian when you know of dals, pulses, and some vegetables like peas, which have an adequate amount of protein. Non-vegetarian proteins would be your dairy products, your eggs, and all your meat products. The third category, as our body sees it, is protective food, which is fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are required essentially every day because they are important as a source of minerals which are necessary for our bodily functions to carry on without any trouble, without any deficiency. Primarily, your heart and brain health also depends on it. It is very low in fat, and because of that, it makes it a very good supply of energy. A high fiber content in fruits, and on a consistent supply to the body, it can even prevent the body from diseases such as cancer, diabetes, gastrointestinal related problems, because it clears out your system of whatever is unwanted and toxic in nature. And therefore, I would like to say the foods we choose make a big difference. So, how do we eat fruits? When is the most right time? When is the optimum time to utilize the benefit of the fruit? Any fruit like papaya, muskmelon, orange, apple, guava, pomegranate, berries are all very good options when you are waiting for your breakfast to be prepared. Fruits are very rich in fiber and they digest in just 20 minutes of eating. So if you are waiting for your breakfast or if you are going for a walk, it's extremely nice to just eat one fruit and head out and come back and eat a hearty breakfast. Or in the day, anytime when your body is fairly, when your stomach is fairly empty, like in the midday or an evening snack between a meal, it keeps you going and keeps you filled up on energy. At this point, most clients ask me, can I have a fruit juice? To that, I'd like to say, a whole fruit contains 100% of nutrition, whereas juice gives you only 60% of the value. So you have to take a decision, which one would you prefer? I have put out a list of 10 healthy snacks so that we as adults are able to implement and apply the knowledge received into a doable act within our families. And therefore, here are some 10 healthy snacks specifically for children. Any fruit, you could chop it, serve it with a drizzle of honey and some cocoa powder, which adds a lot of flavor. To children, sometimes you could also serve fruits with just a little bit of fresh cream, which adds flavor, or some homemade custard. Nuts like almonds, pistas, walnuts, and raisins are a very easy on the go snack. Sesame seeds are very rich in calcium, the other supply of calcium being only from your dairy products, not to mention the fuss the children create for vegetables. The sesame seeds contain calcium in high quantities, which is extremely necessary for the body of anyone from the childhood till the age of 30 and going forward from there. But the accumulation happens in these years primarily. So, sesame seeds, peanut, and jaggery laddus, which are available in the supermarkets, can be bought and kept at home and utilized as a snack. French toast can be made with some wholesome ingredients from our kitchen, like egg, milk, and these are a tasty snack which the children will enjoy without even realizing the goodness that comes from it. Sandwiches can be made with simple chicken or paneer or any other vegetables that are easily available at home. Milk and cookies. You could make cookies with oats or chocolate and keep it in a jar and make it available to children with milk. Pancakes can be made with simple ingredients like egg, milk, honey, nuts, wheat flour. If not nuts, you could also add bananas into the pancake and make it a variety for your children. Boiled, fried, or roasted peanuts are a very handy snack to be taken away with you if you're traveling, to be kept at home, boiled any time of the day, can be consumed easily, and they are very, very good for health. Boiled chanas, which can be pre cooked and served later in the day anytime. Boiled egg or an omelette is an easy and fast snack and a very nutritious snack for children. Sweet potato can be boiled and served to children in a different form. Oats can be cooked in milk and served with jaggery. Having spoken about all these healthy snacks for children, it is a matter of habit where you are able to offer these to your children and imagine the day they come to you and say, Mommy, I'm hungry. Can I have some pancake? Can I have some peanut? Isn't that something nice instead of the child running up to you and asking you for a packet of chips? I think the lifestyle changes we incorporate now helps our children to form habits for the future. And therefore, take care of your body. It is the only place you have to live. Children in the age of 6 to 12 years, what should they eat? An age related understanding of nutrients is extremely important so that the children of that specific age are able to eat a high nutrient dense diet. A high energy, high protein, high iron for the cognitive development, and all vitamins, including vitamin A and zinc, apart from all the other vitamins and minerals available, should be present in the diet. Breakfast is a meal that comes after 8 to 10 hours of keeping the stomach empty, so that becomes the most important meal of the day. A child should be included in the plan where you're making a breakfast plan for the following day. It is an extremely engaging conversation with children if you ask them, what would you like? And if they came to you with options, they are more likely to finish it. So eggs, cheese, milk, butter, paneer, chicken, all of these can be incorporated at any time in any other meal so that children are able to get nutrients which they need for their growth. Homemade wheat chapatis, poha, upma, bread, idli, dosa, pasta, all of these are options that we must indulge in and as far as possible avoid ready to eat cereal because it has a shelf life. And anything with a shelf life is bound to have some amount of material that we don't want in our food. As per the discussion in the previous slide, healthy snacks can be incorporated for all children in the age of 6 to 12. Children forget to drink water. They may forget to take a water break. Therefore, if they are in your vicinity and you are able to offer them, you can make arrangement for lime juice, buttermilk, or milk between meals along with their suitable snacks. A routine is extremely important for children of this age. They thrive on routine. They have to know what time their snack is, what time is playtime, what time is homework. It helps to keep them sane. It helps to give them an understanding and also allows them to build an appetite around the time. And especially for fussy eaters, a routine helps to establish a regular eating pattern. Above all, being a role model goes a long way in influencing your children with the right habits. Eat well, sleep well, play well. This is the mantra for all children. Children like to spend very little time eating. because they are so distracted with all their gains. They like to eat quick foods, and therefore you should be able to offer them finger foods and quick foods instead of a chapati with sabzi. If you could make them a roll with the chapati and the same sabzi, it will be gone in much lesser time. Allow them to show you their preferences, likes and dislikes. Let them help you shop for vegetables and fruits. You can involve them. Include a variety of color, texture, taste, and flavor just by identifying fruits, vegetables, ingredients in your kitchen of different color. Every color represents a different nature of nutrient. And the more colorful your plate looks, the more nutrients you have allowed to enter into your palate. New foods can be offered to children at regular intervals and in different forms, and wait for the child to start accepting the flavors. Families must make an effort to eat together to foster a good feeling about food. Being a role model and enjoying the meals makes it easier for children to enjoy their meals and accept the flavors being offered at the table. And when they do make a good choice, appreciation goes a long way in encouraging the healthy choices they have made. A nutritious, ready to eat snack can be stocked and pre prepared and kept well in time. So you are able to carry on with your duties and commitments. The next age group, we can't really call them children because they are coming up to our shoulder level, but of course, these are the adolescents who are 10 to 19 years of age and they are in the age of transition. Their body is going through a growth spurt. In boys and girls, we notice a great amount of physical, biochemical, and emotional changes. Adolescents can be seen growing well into their adult stature and they are not aware of the huge changes happening in their body. There is a great increase in bone mass, what we see or hear from them as growing pains. The growth of bone mass is big in this growth spurt. The vascular system is growing, because of which there is an increase in the blood volume, because of which they need more iron in their diet. There is an increase in the muscle mass. Because the bone is growing, the more muscle is covering the bone. Nearly 40% of muscle mass growth happens in this phase. And because of that, there is an increase in the need for iron stores as well. A healthy outside starts from the inside. This is one thing we would like to tell our adolescents. What do we offer? What should an adolescent person eat? A well-balanced meal should be eaten. You could include cereal, protein, and fresh vegetables in every meal. No meal should be missed. Our adolescents are very busy with all of their peer activities and sometimes tend to forget to eat or eat only little to run away to something important. It should be emphasized that every meal should be eaten. Not a single meal could be missed. Iron-rich food should be included, such as meat, eggs, and green leafy vegetables and whole grains. Calorie-rich food should be included to support the growth spurt. Fruit milkshakes are the easiest and the best snack, and they love it because it is extremely high in taste and it contains all the necessary vitamins and the good calorie which come, and also the protein is taken care of. Adolescents need to be encouraged to do physical activity because it helps them for growth and it regulates their appetite. A balance of fried and non-fried food examples. Example, take a portion of salad with an item on the menu. Just say idli and vada is also a good combination. Children should learn how to make these choices right from the start because that is a habit they will form for a lifetime. Avoid empty calorie foods like aerated beverages and chips. Encourage eating home cooked food together as a family. It's okay to eat outside food, but one should not get addicted to eating outside food because food that is prepared outside is enhanced in flavors and it contains toxic elements that accumulate within the body as a waste. And therefore, at this junction, it is best we know that fresh air, exercise, adequate amount of water, rest, a good diet, and sunshine are some very basic things a human being needs. And we can call them the best six doctors. Adulthood starts at the age of 20. Who is an adult? An average adult an average adult, man or woman, is someone who is physically fit for active work. free from disease, on each working day is deployed for 8 hours in occupation, involves in moderate activity, sleeps 8 hours in a 24-hour span, and is able to spend 4 to 6 hours moving around and 2 hours in some sort of active recreation in walking or some household duties. The very important aspect about food for adults is the amount of physical activity, whether he or she does a moderate, heavy, or a sedentary, or what we can call as seating in an office chair. So, an important factor that determines the food intake for an adult is the nature and duration of physical activity. An adult must eat zero point 0.8 to 1 gram protein per kg of his body weight from a mixed source of vegetarian and non-vegetarian food, which means an adult weighing 60 kg must consume 56 to 60 grams of protein per day. Now, how do I understand as a common man how many grams of protein I need to take and how to distribute it throughout the day in my diet? I will give you an example. An egg contains 6 grams of protein. A glass of milk contains 6 grams of protein. An egg without the yolk, just the egg white, contains 3.6 grams of protein, which is a lot of protein. This, at 3 different times of the day in different forms of protein, will suffice, provided you have planned your day's eating pattern well. It is a prudent idea to use unsaturated vegetable oil for regular cooking, for example, groundnut oil and sunflower oil. Bone mass increases during childhood and adolescence and peaks between the age of 20 to 30. Therefore, calcium intake is very vital up to the age of 30, not just in your childhood years. Iron, vitamin A, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, calcium, and many more such minerals are some of the important elements to be included in the diet in different forms. Mostly all vitamins, all minerals are covered if you cover the different colors. The apple is red, the cabbage is purple, the broccoli is green. Think of all your colorful vegetables and you would have covered all the vitamins and minerals within your diet. Include a portion of include 1 portion cereal, 1 portion protein. I'm sorry. I'm trying to move this. I'm sorry about that. Include 1 portion cereal, 1 portion protein, and 1 portion vegetable in every meal, which means your plate should contain an equal amount of cereal, protein, and vegetable. In a day, in 1 or 2 portions of dairy and 5 to 6 portions of fruits and vegetables could be included in the day, which means as you go along through your day, you could carry an orange in your bag, you could carry an apple, a guava, some grapes, or some chopped cucumber, some chopped carrot. You could just have them tossed into your bag as a routine. Plan your water intake often because headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, and forgetfulness is usually because of inadequate water in the body. 2.5 to 3 liters of water in a day is ideal. As Anne Wigmore says, the food you eat can either be the safest and the most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. We have to understand that not all of us are able to incorporate a non-vegetarian diet. And the myth goes a vegetarian diet is void of protein, not if you are able to plan it right. Food of plant origin is called vegetarian diet. Lacto-vegetarian are those who consume milk products. Ovo-vegetarians are those who eat egg within their vegetarian diets. And these are variants. Grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, soya are said to be included to make it meet nutritional requirements. Fermented food like dosa helps to provide some vitamins that are vital and not easily available within the vegetarian diet. Protein carbohydrate balance is important, as good quality vitamins are available to the body only when one completes the other. Example, dal chawal complete the profile of essential protein by balancing each other like pieces of a puzzle. Dairy products in the vegetarian diet provide the essential protein and calcium. Curd, cheese can be used as per the recommended dietary allowance of the individual. A primary source of essential fatty acid and minerals like iron, zinc come from green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, and soya. Exposure to sunlight is extremely important for vegetarians, especially due to the necessity of vitamin D, which can be obtained from the sunlight in the absence of a non-vegetarian diet. Vegetarian diets have also been known to have lesser links to hypertension, heart disease, and cancer. So it is a good idea for all of us to have a balanced vegetarian diet by choice once in a while. Optimum nutrition is the medicine of tomorrow. These are the words I would like to leave you with. Your diet, your health habits of today are going to influence your tomorrow, delay your aging, give you the strength to live your life with optimum health. And therefore, it should be incorporated as a daily habit. Thank you.
I take this opportunity to thank Professor Ameena Zarar for addressing a very vital topic, nutrition. I am sure we all have become wiser about how to handle nutritional needs of our children and the rest of the family as well. Thank you so much, ma'am. Founder Director of Eduvangelist Private Limited, a Bengaluru-based organization specialized in offering vital skills required for emotional, social, mental well-being. Our speaker today, Ms. Manju Goel, envision a society comprising mentally strong, emotionally balanced, and socially active citizens. Ms. Goel is a believer in the process of constant learning, unlearning, and relearning. She is a double graduate in science and education, has done her master's in counseling and family therapy, and a postgraduate diploma in corporate counseling. She is a certified NLP practitioner, wellness coach, sexuality and body empowerment trainer, play therapist, life coach, mentor, psychotherapist, behavioral counselor, and a seasoned trainer. Ms. Goel has a natural flair for people and specializes as personal transformation coach. She is experienced in child, student, adolescent, marital, corporate, emotional, psychological, and geriatric counseling. Ms. Goel holds the distinction of having trained the largest number of students, numbering 1,297 on body safety and body empowerment through Faith Foundation, an organization which works on child safety and fight against sexual abuse, which won them a Guinness World Record. We are indeed fortunate to have such an accomplished person as our speaker today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Hemawati ma'am. I thank the entire team of St. Joseph's for the opportunity, and a very good evening to all the parents. So we're going to be talking today about wellness, and let me share my screen before I get started. So talking about wellness, people often think about wellness in terms of physical health, nutrition, exercise, weight management, etc. But wellness is so much more. Wellness is a holistic integration of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's not only the absence of any illness, but it means fueling the body, engaging the mind, and nurturing the spirit. It always includes striving for good health, but it's more about living life fully. You can call it a lifestyle and a personalized approach to living in a way that allows you to become the best kind of person that your potential circumstances will allow. So now another important part of wellness is it requires good self-maintenance, protection for ourselves and for those we care about and who care about us. For those in the helping profession, especially people like us, the teachers, of course, parents included, wellness is a professional as well as personal responsibility. In order to ensure good and lasting relationships, we kind of have an ethical obligation to attend to our own health and well-being. So what we all need to remember is sufficient self-care prevents us from harming those we serve, and no situation or circumstance or person can justify neglecting it. So what we all need to remember is that, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And as teachers, parents, we will need to learn to take care of ourselves. And bear in mind always that our students and our children's well-being always starts with our own well-being. Now, talking about wellness, wellness has 8 dimensions. So today, I missed the agenda. So there's quite some on the plate. So we will be talking about dimensions of wellness, anxiety coping techniques, circle of control, positive parenting techniques, and how to create good habits around digital gadgets. So we discussed about what wellness is. Now we'll talk about what are the different dimensions of wellness. Now there are about 8 dimensions to wellness. And these 8 dimensions are mutually interdependent dimensions. They are physical, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, vocational, financial, and environmental. So attention must be given to all the dimensions, as neglect of any one over time will adversely affect the others and ultimately one's health, well-being, and quality of life. Hence, they need to be equally balanced. So what we need to strive for is a personal harmony that feels most authentic to us. We all know that we are all very different, and each of us naturally have our own priorities, our own approaches, our aspirations, including our own views of what it means to live life fully. Okay, so we need to find that personal harmony that feels very authentic to us. That's what wellness is about. Now, talking about the different dimensions, the first dimension, the physical dimension, what it means is caring for your body to stay healthy now and in the future. Now, how you can take care of it is by focusing on nutrition, healthy habits, exercise, healthy choices, physical activity. Also, now coming to intellectual wellness means growing intellectually, maintaining curiosity about all there is to learn, valuing lifelong learning, and responding positively to intellectual challenges. Expanding your knowledge and skills to discover your potential, and also for sharing this gift with others. So intellectual wellness is all about learning, schoolwork, discovering new interests, making goals, setting milestones, trying new things. Now, coming to emotional wellness, understanding and respecting, it's all about understanding and respecting your feelings, values, and attitudes. It's also about appreciating the feeling of others, managing your emotions in a constructive way, feeling positive and enthusiastic about your life. So it's all about managing emotions, emotional regulation, positive attitude, growth mindset, mindfulness, and gratitude. Now, talking about social wellness, social wellness is about maintaining healthy relationships, enjoying being in the company of others, developing friendships and intimate relations, caring about others, letting others care about you. It also means contributing to your community. How we can achieve it, achieve social wellness, is by being aware of others, knowing how to resolve conflicts, communication, social networks, empathy, and tolerance for differences. Now, talking about the next dimension, which is spiritual, how we can find spiritual wellness is in finding purpose, value, and meaning in your life with or without organized religion. Also, by participating in activities that are consistent with your beliefs and values. And how can we understand that we have spiritual wellness? Is by focusing on our beliefs, values, exploring your culture, mindfulness, having peace, and contributing in your daily tasks. Now, the next dimension is the vocational dimension. Vocational dimension is preparing for and participating in work that provides personal satisfaction and life enrichment that is consistent with your values, goals, and lifestyle. It means contributing your unique gifts, skills, and talents to work that is personally meaningful and rewarding. How you can achieve it is by play, learning, chores and jobs, hobbies, interests, talents, and self-care. Now, talking about financial dimension, how we can achieve it is by managing your resources to live within your means, making informed financial decisions and investments, setting realistic goals, preparing for short-term and long-term needs or emergencies, and also being aware that everyone's financial values, needs, and circumstances are very unique. Now, coming to the last dimension, which is the environmental dimension, this is all about understanding how your social, natural, and built environments affect your health and well-being. One needs to be aware, it's all about being aware of the unstable state of the earth and the effects of your daily habits on the physical environment. It means demonstrating commitment to a healthy planet. So now this is about the different dimensions of wellness. But talking about wellness, what we all need to remember about well-being is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach. It's about being able to lead the life that one wants to live. And how it can be achieved? It can be achieved by social support and relationships, finding a sense of meaning, purpose in life, by nutrition, physical health, relationship with health professionals, be it physical, emotional, or mental. You should be able to find support and ask for support. And what we should also understand is that when working with people with emotional and mental health problems, it's not like fixing a broken leg. We can't just treat the immediate symptoms and expect that person to make a full recovery. Instead, we must see the person as a whole and all the factors that may lead their well-being. Only by doing so, we can fully support individuals to lead independent, fulfilling lives in their communities. So to wrap it up all up, well-being is nothing but a state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. It means how satisfied you are with your life as a whole, your sense of purpose, and how much in control you feel. So this is about well-being. Now, next we're going to discuss about anxiety and coping techniques. Now, what is anxiety? When I say anxiety, what comes to your mind? Before that, let's discuss some of the challenges that this pandemic has brought. The biggest challenge is staying indoors. So we are social beings and we really don't know how to stay indoors. We need to go out, step out and, find our place. No matter what we do, we as social beings, we are also emotional beings. So in the minute we have something to share or something to enjoy, we need to just step out and go and meet people. We need to gather, we need to celebrate, we need to share it with people. So no gathering is a big challenge in today's times, though we are slowly learning to step out and in safe spaces, meet our loved ones. The next challenge is work from home, managing children, family, work, school, household chores. Then during these times, we've been experiencing mood swings. Managing time has been extremely difficult. So now, how has the pandemic impacted people? The biggest impact the pandemic has had on people is fear. Now, what is fear? Fear is a response to perceived danger or an actual threat. And fear leads to anxiety. What is anxiety? Anxiety is nothing but our body's natural response to stress. Now, fear, we all know that fear leads to anxiety, anxiety to stress, stress leads to uncertainty, uncertainty leads to anger outbursts, you experience boredom, frustration, grief, grief leads to depressive symptoms or extreme sadness, which leads to suicidal ideations, hopelessness, substance abuse. We experience, this leads to withdrawal issues, alcohol abuse, domestic violence. So these are the few impacts that we see on people due to the pandemic. Now, let's talk about the change curve. Now, what is change curve? Now, change is often not very pleasant. Okay, so whenever there is change, it makes us feel quite uncomfortable. So there is a model which is called the Kubler-Ross model, which goes through various change, which explains change. Okay, so the first phase that one goes through is shock. During this phase, there is an element, we experience surprise or shock at the event. Then there is denial, there is disbelief, looking for evidence that we're hoping that this isn't true. Then you experience frustration. During frustration, that phase, there is a recognition that things are different. And sometimes this makes us angry because we are not ready to accept the situation. That leads to depression, which is low mood, lacking in energy. It needn't have to be depression. It could be extreme sadness as well. From here, we move on to acceptance and commitment stage. So as we move towards the acceptance stage, we try to experiment with this stage. So here there is initially we start engaging with the new situation. Then we move on to making decisions, learning how to work with the new situation. We start feeling more positive. That's exactly what we are all doing now. We've learned to work with the pandemic. We are all finding more positive situation. Then the last comes the integration. That is, the changes are integrated, and now we are a renewed individual. So this is the stage of acceptance and commitment. So this is what it means by change curve. Now, talking about stress, what is stress? Stress is nothing but a state of physical, mental, or emotional strain. So stress is a way of, the body's way of responding to any kind of demand or threat or lack of resources. Now, stress can be of two types. So that is eustress and distress. Now, what is eustress? Eustress is nothing but positive stress. Now, what is positive stress? Positive stress is that stress that enables us, to function effectively, where we can use stress to, achieve our goals. So that is positive stress. Now, talking about distress, what is distress? So distress is excess stress that leads to disturbance, negative impact on performance in our daily life. It can cause damage to our health, our mood, our productivity, our relationships, and quality of life. So how you can understand the effect of stress on a body is that maybe you can do this as an activity whenever you find time. Just draw, a rough figure of your body. And then when you experience stress, mark those parts of the body that is affected by stress. This will tell you as to the kind of impact stress has on your body. Okay, this will help you identify where you experience stress. So that is about, and how to cope with stress. Talking about stress, before we talk about coping, let's understand what are the most common stresses. Now, one of the most common stresses we discussed is change. Apart from that, interpersonal conflicts, misunderstandings, breaking down of relationships, children, family, hectic schedules, financial situations, perfectionism, anxiety about future, too much of media, work from home, online schools, classrooms, the online classrooms, boredom, lack of healthy diet or fitness, on which we had a session, and also boredom. So these are the most common stresses that we are experiencing now. So now, how can we identify stress? Okay, so there are 4 symptoms to stress. That is cognitive symptoms, physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, and behavioral symptoms. Now, the cognitive symptoms are memory problems, poor judgment, wherein you see only the negative things, you're constantly worrying, anxious or racing thoughts, inability to concentrate. So these are the cognitive symptoms. Now, talking about emotional symptoms, there is a lot of irritability when we experience, emotional symptoms. There is a tendency to feel overwhelmed, a sense of loneliness and isolation, sadness, depression, general unhappiness, inability to relax. So these are the emotional symptoms. Now, talking about physical symptoms, you can experience various aches and pains, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, dizziness, chest pain, rapid heartbeat, loss of sex drive. So these are some of the physical symptoms. Now, talking about behavioral symptoms, eating less or more, sleeping too much or too little, isolating yourself from others, procrastinating or neglecting responsibilities, using alcohol, cigarettes, or drugs to relax, nervous habits like, you can catch, often you see adults also do it, not only children, nail biting, pacing, etc. So these are the symptoms of stress. Now, let's talk about coping. So how can one cope with stress? So the common response to stress is the fight, flight, or freeze response. Okay, so an angry or agitated response, which means being over emotional, angry, or being highly strung. Or it could be a withdrawn or depressed stress response, which is a tendency to block out others and stay alone. The other response is a tense and frozen stress response, which is tendency to take an overt action, but being emotionally agitated covertly. So these are some of the ways that we respond to stress. And how we can cope, another tool I'm going to give you is, this is the most important tool, is about emotional intelligence. Okay, you can use emotional intelligence as a way to cope with stress. Now, what is emotional intelligence? So in simple words, emotional intelligence, in practical terms, it means that being aware that emotions can drive our behavior and impact people, be it positively or negatively, and learning how to manage these emotions, both not only ours, but also others' emotions. Okay, and managing emotions is especially important in situations when we are under pressure. Say, for example, dealing with challenging situations with children, with family, at work, not having enough resources, while navigating through change, working through setbacks and failure, giving and receiving feedback, meeting tight deadlines, managing time. So these are some of the ways where, we experience, where we need to handle emotions. So it's a scientific fact that emotions always precede thought. When emotions run high, they change the way our brains function, okay, which diminishes our cognitive abilities, our decision-making powers, and even interpersonal skills. So at a personal level, emotional intelligence will help us have uncomfortable conversation without hurting others' feelings or our own feelings. It helps us manage our emotions when stressed or feeling overwhelmed. It helps us improve relationship with people we care about. And at work, emotional intelligence can help us resolve conflicts, coach and motivate others, create a culture of collaboration, and build psychological safety within teams. Now, there are 4 pillars. There are 5 pillars to emotional intelligence. The first being self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your moods, emotions, drives, your strengths, your weakness, your limitation, all of those, and as well as the effect these have on others. So that's self-awareness. Now, talking about self-regulation, it is the ability to control or redirect disruptive impulses and moods, the tendency to think before acting. Now, what is motivation? Motivation is nothing but passion to work for reasons that go beyond money or status. Okay, it is the tendency to pursue goal with energy and persistence. Now, talking about empathy is ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people. So it is the skill in treating people according to their emotional reactions. So often we hear people telling that empathy means to step into another person's shoes. So what that also means is to be in another person's shoes, we should first remove our shoes. So as long as we are wearing our shoes, it's impossible for us to step into another person's shoes and help another person or understand what that person is experiencing or going through. So the next pillar is social skill. Now, social skill is proficiency in managing relationships and building networks. It's the ability to find common ground and build rapport. So these are the pillars of of emotional intelligence. Now, the next topic that we're going to discuss about is, before we go to the next topic, maybe I have a few general tips as to how you can cope with stress. Music can be an ideal stress buster. Books are friends and paper. If they inspire, entertain, and educate. So pamper yourself with entertainment options. Eating healthy foods, mindfulness, exercise, drinking plenty of water. As you're working, just find different ways to release stress. So these are general tips for you. And next we're going to talk about circle of control. Now, what is circle of control and why are we talking about circle of control? Now, there is a circle of control, and there are some things that is in our control, and there are some things that isn't in our control. So if we are going to run behind things that isn't in our control, we are going to be always unhappy. So the aim of circle of control is to take responsibility of our work, concerns, or whatever issues that concerns us, and thus to be more proactive, productive, and happier. It's also a great tool for resilience. If anyone feels out of control, you can question all of the things about where they feel, why they're feeling that way, and talk about what gives them more agency. Okay, so figure out their thoughts, understand their own thoughts. For the things we simply can't control, we need to stop worrying about them. You can't affect government policies or the weather or other people's behavior or coronavirus. Or, so all we just need to do is, park those outside. Okay, so let's understand the circle of control. Now, as you can see on the slide, the inner circle are things that you can control, and the outer circle are things that you cannot control. So what is in your control is your attitude, what you buy, your behavior, what you read, what you watch on television, who are the people you surround yourself with, what you post on social media. All these things are in your control, and it is something that it's a choice that you make. Now, what are the things that's not in your control? Is social media feeds, the news, coronavirus, other people's behavior, political issues, the economy. All these things are beyond our control. And if we understand why we are talking about circle of control is because this will help us handle our life in a better manner. Now look at the next thing, the picture on the slide. So there are certain things that we can control and we cannot. So in what we can control, there is also how I respond to situations. Okay, and what we cannot control is how someone perceives me. So what is in my control is my habits, patterns, and behavior. And what is not in my control is the behavior of anyone else outside of myself. Okay, what is in my control is where I place my attention. My energy is in my control. Where others place their attention or energy is beyond my control. And what is in my control is the meaning I choose to assign to each situation. And what is beyond my control is the situations I encounter daily. And what is in my control is how I speak to those around me, and how others choose to speak to me is not something that is in my control. Here, I would like to mention the Serenity Prayer, which I practice every day. It's something that comes very handy to me. So the prayer goes like this. So, God, give me the courage to change things that I can, to accept things that I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So that's about circle of control. Now coming to the next topic, which is the ABCD of positive parenting. Now, while parenting, so parenting does not come with any formula. It's, it's very personal to everyone. And it's an everyday affair. You keep exploring and you keep learning and you keep evolving. So there are, I'm going to talk about ABCD of positive parenting. The first one being accept your child. Give complete unconditional acceptance to your child. The next is believe your child. If not you, who will believe your child? Children do make mistakes, but give them the space so that they can come back to you and they will be able to talk to you about your mistakes. So you need to give children so much of acceptance by believing your child. And the C is compare your child with none. So comparison, we all know what it does. Like none of us like to be compared with anyone. So it's the same thing, when we compare with our child, be it with their own siblings or be it, it's a general tendency, look at what your friend is doing, look at your sister, look at your brother, look at your dad, look at your mom, look at your grandparents, this constant comparison. So we should always remember our child with anyone. The fourth is so much of space that no matter what happens in their life, they should be able to come back to you and talk to you about the challenges they are experiencing. So now what is that? What do our children hear the most in each day? What is that one word that our children wake up to? Any guesses? No prizes for guessing here. So that one word is no or don't. So this is what our children wake up listening to. So let's talk about the pitfalls of no and don't statements. Now, this no and don't is confusing. If you tell the child confused, when they don't know what to do, they continue doing what they want to do. Okay, and that's why no statements are very confusing to children. For us, it is no, don't. It comes very easily. It's something that we, always talk about. And the next is they reinforce. What no statements does is they reinforce the negative behavior. And what that means is, like, when you tell them don't do this, don't go there, they are like, and like if you're not telling them what else to do, they're going to do that. They continue doing that. They will keep repeating that behavior to teaching children. There's only one way, that is by role playing. So maybe at this point, I'm going to do a stop share and I'm going to come on screen and maybe this is a very quick and short activity. Okay, so I want all of you who are watching me to pay attention to this and do this along with me. Okay, so now all you've got to do is hold your hand like this, your fingers like this. So make this shape. Can you see this, all of you? I'm hoping all of you can see me. So make this shape. Can you see this? Okay, so do this. Take it towards your screen, bring it back, take it towards your screen, bring it back and place your hand on your chin. Okay, can you see? Place your hand on the chin. Now, I want you all to pay attention to where your hand is. Have you all placed your hand on your chin or on your cheeks? I'm sure most watching would have placed your hand. In my experience, it has been that most people, it's not that they don't understand this is chin and this is cheeks, but most of them place their hand. They just tend to do what I am doing. So what this means is, what this only means is there is no two ways to teach children what to do. You have to model that behavior for them. You can teach only by doing things. There's no shortcuts to this. So if you want to teach your child something, go ahead and do it, demonstrate, show them how to do it. Right? I'm going to start sharing my screen again. I hope you all can see my screen. I'm sorry, just give me a moment. Okay. Now, moving on to the morning mania that I was talking about. So most of us wake up, how does our morning starts? Either, our morning starts by either nagging, reminding, or shouting or yelling at children. Is that how your morning starts? Then just, if it is so, then please be mindful. Because kids' priorities are not the same as parent priorities. You tell them, wake up, brush your teeth, take bath, and then attend the classes. For them, that's not important at all. For them, it is all about sitting and attending the class. I'm attending the class, that's only a big deal. And, you added to that, you want me to brush your teeth, groom yourself? No, they're not. They're least bit interested in all of these. So we need to understand that kids' priorities are not same as parent priorities. Grooming themselves and eating breakfast before classes, drinking their milk, doing this, doing that, these are all our priorities. Of course, we are trying to discipline them, we are trying to help them, but we also need to be mindful that the way children look at these things. Okay, so I will give you a few strategies to deal with morning hurdles. Take time to emotionally connect. Every morning, spend some time emotionally connecting to your child. Be it through a hug, through a kiss, or through conversation, just an eye contact where you make sure you tell them you care, you love. Okay, so the next strategy is about using when-then routines. Now, what is when-then routines? So every time, what when-then routine means is like every time you tell them, you're giving them certain things. You don't want them to use media enough. So you tell them, give them a rule like, when you finish doing your homework, then you get to watch television. When you finish your breakfast, then you get to go out and play. So make these rules, set these rules with them, have when-then routines, and implement a no rescue policy, which means no matter what happens, you stick to these routines. Only if they have completed their schoolwork, they get to watch television. Only they've finished eating, they get to go out or whatever they choose to do. Okay, so that's about strategies to deal with morning hurdles. Now, the next topic I'm going to talk about is parenting burnout. Okay, so why are we talking about this? So we as parents, our plate as a parent is pretty much full every day. So how can we deal with this? So the most important thing is me time for parents as well. You cannot give your 100% to your family when you are not in the right frame of mind. So taking some time off, re-energizes you. It allows you to think clearly and make better decisions. It makes you a better parent because it helps you keep your frustrations at bay. If you become a better parent, you're going to be happy. So you show a good example to your kids when you take care of yourself. It would help you de-stress and also will improve your sleep. Another thing parents need to do is to recognize when sometimes all they need is a mental vacation, just to disconnect from everything around them. Okay, so take small, quick mental vacations every now and then. So now how to deal with misbehavior and mood swings. So spend some quality time together, pause and slow down. The mind, body, soul time, what this means is filling the attention basket in positive ways. Most of the differences that we have with children is due to the power dynamics. So when they experience lack of power, that's when they rebel, when they're fighting with us constantly. So we need to find means to fill their attention basket in positive ways. So give power, give choices. Allow them to make choices. In whatever capacity a child can make choices and make decisions, give them that freedom to choice and decisions. Always entrust your child with developmentally appropriate tasks. Foster capability. What can they do to contribute to family tasks in a meaningful way? So always identify, give them chores at home. It is very, very important to involve children in, chores at home. The next is smart consequences. Have verbal agreement, like the when-then rules. All right. So provide some structure to the day. Prioritize positive feedback and pick your battles. You don't have to put your head into every battle. Sometimes the children is just upset about something and they would have said something nasty. You could just ignore. You just don't have to put your head into everything. Especially between siblings or between friends, if they're having a conversation, if they're having a disagreement, let them be. Encourage your child or teen to resume or cultivate hobbies. This is very, very important during these times, especially, because most of the time they spend on, not social media, but on their laptops. Classes are online these days. So you need to encourage them to find time to do other things, okay, which is not using a screen. Set limits on media use and explain what the news means. Help your child or your teen stay electronically connected with their friends. Attend to the basic things. Sleep, exercise, coronavirus precautions, whatever that is required for them to learn. Provide professional help. So in simple words, practice compassion towards yourself and your child or your teen. Now, teens, as a parent of a teenager, you want to help your teenager navigate a world full of new social and mental pressures. So how you can do it is, how you can connect to them is by understanding the love language of teenagers. So there are 5 love languages that I'm going to be talking to you about, which will help us communicate with our teenagers effectively. Before that, you need to understand your teenager before you understand, what the love languages are. Okay, so to understand your teenager, the first thing you need to understand is that teenagers are very moody in nature. Sometimes, you can see, you'll find them very egocentric. Okay, so the belief, what adolescent egocentrism means is that the belief that others are highly attentive to they always believe that others are highly attentive to their behavior and their appearance. That is, egocentric adolescents believe that all eyes are on them all the time. This is a developmentally normal cognitive limitation. Also, while parenting a teen, it's going to be very difficult for us because when they're always wanting attention, it becomes very difficult for the parents to support them. But this is the time where we can understand them and offer acceptance. Okay, we can often at this age find that, they spend hours preening, dressing themselves up. They want to look good. Why? Because they feel that everyone is noticing them. If I don't look good, and then people will reject me. So these are the kind of thoughts that they are experiencing. And so we need to be very mindful of this experience. Okay, and adolescent egocentrism always give rise to another 2 beliefs seen in teen years, which is called the imaginary audience and personal fable. Now, what is imaginary audience? It refers to a state where an individual imagines and believes that multitudes of people are enthusiastically listening or watching to him or her. So the formal operational thought in them is all others are watching me. So the basic premise of imaginary audience is that the adolescent who's experiencing it feels as though his or her behavior or actions are the main focus of other people's attention. Hence, they become very self-conscious and may not worry about what other people think of them. So example of an imaginary audience is that you'll find children changing their clothes constantly before they leave their house. They will ensure that their hair is done. So they want to make sure they're presentable for everybody who's watching them. What personal fable means is, the basic premise of personal fable is that the adolescent believes that he or she is very uniquely special, that no one else is. So when a child is experiencing personal fable, they're experiencing a difficult situation where they believe that they're the only person who's experiencing that particular problem at that particular time. Okay, so these are the few experiences that adolescents go through. So before we talk to them, we need to understand what, what are the changes they go through. You will find them very hypocritical. They go through identity crisis. So we need to be aware of that and then talking about the love language, how we can communicate with our teenage is now what you need to do is visualize that inside every teen, there is this emotional love tank. Okay, when these teens' love tank is full, he or she genuinely feels loved by their parents. The teen can make their way through adolescence with minimal trauma if we as parents understand it. Okay. And when the teen's love tank is empty, she will grapple with many internal struggles and will typically look for love at the wrong places. Therefore, discerning your teen's love language is very essential. Now, the first love language there are 5 love languages, and what are they? They're physical touch. Words, which is words of affirmation, gifts, touch, acts, and time. These are the 5 love languages of children. So teenagers, children, all of us, in fact, but it works differently for younger children and older children. So physical touch, okay, so hugs, kisses, and tender touches are given in abundance when children are young. Somehow when our kids grow up, we feel very awkward, hugging our child, showing affection in the same manner. But if a teen's primary love language is physical touch, those appropriate touches are no less important during their teenagers. Now, talking about the next one, I'm running out of time, I understand. So I will quickly talk very briefly about what these love languages are and how you can understand words of affirmation. Words of affirmation are people when you, appreciate them. Time is nothing but quality time. Acts is nothing but acts of service. For those whose love language is acts of service, these are people who will understand love when we cook for them, when we do, you help them with homework. Such things. Quality time is when you spend quality time, when you sit with them, when you have conversations with them. And amongst teenagers, giving gifts is a very common way of understanding love language. This does not mean they're very material. They feel that our needs. So how you can understand the love language of your child is to ask your child, when do you feel loved? And the children will explain to you, as to when they feel loved. They will tell you, I feel loved when you talk to me. That means their love language is quality time. When, if they tell you that they feel loved when you cook for me, when you sit and talk to me, they will give you cues. They will explain to you. So talk to your children in their love languages. Now, coming to the last topic, which is 5 ways that we can help our children be safe online. This is very important during these times. And how can we do it? By having just following a few rules, which maybe I'll take another 5 minutes. I understand I have reached, 40 minutes was the time that is given to me. May I take 5 more minutes, sir? I hope that's okay. Okay. So the first thing is to set appropriate parental controls. Okay, turn on the safe search on your browser. Set up strict privacy settings on online apps and games. Cover webcams when they are not in use. Okay, so these are the tech fixes you can do to protect your children online. Then the next one is creating healthy and safe online habits. So what you can do is involve your child or teen in creating family tech agreements about healthy device use. Okay, so you can create these device-free spaces and times in your house, so this time, so eating time, you cannot watch device, playing time, you cannot, when you're sitting in the balcony, you cannot use your media. During school work, during sleeping time, you cannot watch media. So you can set these rules with your child. So help your child learn about how to keep personal information private, especially from strangers. Some people, are not who they think they are. So we need to talk to them about, how to stay safe online. So, and also remind your children that what goes online stays online. I did have a video for this, but unfortunately there is time limitation. Maybe the video is like on, it says photo, yeah. So maybe photo fate. F-A-T-E, fate, photo fate. You can look this video up and you can show this to your children as well. There is another very important on Netflix. There's something called Social Dilemma. Watch this with your children. This will also help us understand, how much we are hooked to social media and what social media does to us and children. Okay, so always remind your children that what goes online stays online, the messages, the photos, and the videos. Spend time with your child or teen online. So what this means is explore websites, social media, games and apps together to report it to you. Acceptance so that they, is informative. I'm sorry, I took 5 more minutes extra, I guess.
I would like to express my gratitude to Mrs. Manju Goel for her very lucid presentation on various dimensions of wellness.
Without wasting much of the time, because I think you people are sitting to the things which was not allowing to be physically active, we have become too too busy to look into the food requirement of the family, the cooking of the traditional meals, which will fulfill the requirement of the children, aged, adult people at home. So it has really brought us this gap and the space to rethink about the way we were living all these days. So thanks to the pandemic, which has made us think about the thing which was which in our busy life we were not thinking about. So let's move to my presentation. Immune system, because we are talking about the preventive food, which is very important for the health promotion at this point of time. You have already heard Miss Ameena talking about the basic requirement of the food. So my presentation is only focusing on the requirement of the special food during this time of health crisis. So I will just go through the very important definition first, and then connecting it with the infection. So this is just the disclaimer. It says diet cannot cure any kind of infectious diseases. Specifically, we are talking in terms of coronavirus. But yes, good nutrition can strengthen, and malnutrition, whether it is a overnutrition or undernutrition, can weaken the body's defense mechanism against these infectious diseases. So it's very important to have a good health. So flow of my presentation is like this. So we are first going through the
disease, some of the definition, which is very important to understand. So the concept of disease, so many scientists have defined disease in a different ways. So two definitions are here. So which says that it is a condition in which body's health is impaired, interrupting the function of the vital organs. So whatever vital organs we have in the body, that gets impacted in the disease conditions. So the disease conditions arise due to two types of conditions, which comes or which gets categorized under the malnutrition, which is called as undernutrition and overnutrition. Both are a type of malnutrition. Undernutrition is where you have a deficiency of one or more nutrient, and overnutrition is when you have an excess of a single nutrient or many nutrient. So this is the definition of the disease. Malnutrition. And then we come to the infectious diseases. Now, infectious diseases are caused by any of the microorganisms, including bacteria, virus, parasites, or any other microorganisms. And it can be transmitted. That is why it is infectious diseases. It can be transmitted through water, food, by contact, through vector organisms such as a mosquito. So one of this kind of disease is coronavirus or COVID-19, which spreads with the touch, which spreads with the sneeze. That is why we are wearing a mask, which spreads with the hand. So that is why we are taking all precautions. So now, how nutrition and infection is connected. So the recurrent infections increase the risk of malnutrition. And how it increases the risk of malnutrition? Because during this kind of infectious condition, your body cannot absorb the nutrients from the body. So whatever you consume, even though if you are consuming a healthy meal, but if your body has an infection, that will not allow your body to absorb vital nutrient from your diet. So recurrent infection increases the risk of malnutrition because of a problem in the absorption of the nutrient by the body. So the poor nutrition, so it leads to the infection, recurrent infection leads to the poor nutritional status, which results in the lower immune system again. So it's a like of cycle. It's a kind of cycle. So where the poor nutritional status is there, which leads to the infectious diseases, and infectious diseases in the body does not allow the nutrient to get absorbed in the body, and it predisposes to the infectious diseases. So this becomes kind of vicious cycle from which we are not able to come out unless we really look into the methods by which we can correct this. So further in the continuation, the immune system responds to change in the nutrition status. So immune system responds very well when we have a nutritious diet. It can change your nutritional status, and nutritional status in course change the disease in the body. So malnutrition has a great effect on the immunity system. Impaired immunity opens the way for the infectious diseases, which typically raise a nutrition needs and lower the food intake. Because if you are already having a disease, your appetite will be poor. That is one of the symptoms of any kind of disease. When your diet is poor, your intake will be less. But at the same time, your body requirement is more at the time of the disease. So what we are doing, we are having a disease, but we are not able to eat more, which is again making us more prone to the diseases, and which is lowering our immunity towards the disease. So impaired immunity is a characteristic of protein energy malnutrition, which is a severe type of malnutrition, especially seen in the children. So now we come to now it is clear that what is infection, what is disease, and what is malnutrition. So now we look into the balanced diet. So how to correct all this situation, which is linked with the nutrition. So now we come to the balanced diet. So this is how the ideal plate should look like. So when we talk about balanced diet, it is not about eating one nutrient in abundance. That will lead to the malnutrition, because as I told you all, overnutrition or obesity or overweight is also a type of malnutrition. So a balanced diet consists of varieties of food. As you can see in this plate, your plate should be half of the fruits and vegetable, which you can consume in any meal. Then your 1/4 should be basically protein food, which can be a pulses, nuts and seeds, very small amount of oils and fat. And yes, your 1/4 plate should be cereals. Whatever is your native cereal, whatever is your native cereal, you can consume that cereal. I'm so sorry. I think there is some issue. Yeah. So whatever is your native cereal, you can consume that, and avoid eating anything refined, whether it is a refined oil or it is a refined cereals. So you should avoid eating that. You should be, sticking to the homemade traditional food, which usually we consume. So now the balanced diet includes protein, which is very important aspect, as I told you all. So it is very important for growth and development, very important for children, which supports your wear and tear in the body, and it supports the muscles in the body. And also it is a very important factor in improving your immune system. So well-balanced meal should have a protein foods. So your protein foods are all dairy products, your meat and meat products, and your egg, nuts and seeds. So all these are rich in protein, which you can consume in a right way. You cannot consume in an excess, so that it can take over the other nutrient in the plate. Because each nutrient has to be, or each food rather, I should say, should be consumed in a balanced manner. So after protein, we come to the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is important to give you energy. It is an important source of fiber. So all your roots and tubers, vegetable, like your sweet potato, your yam, your potatoes, all these comes under the carbohydrate variety. It's a roots and tubers, along with the cereals, grains like rice, like ragi, like all the other millets, like wheat. All these comes as a carbohydrate. Then fruits and vegetable, of course, you all are aware, because we have learned a lot about fruits and vegetable during the pandemic time. So it is rich in vitamins and minerals, which are a micronutrient, which is required in a small amount. Yes, but it is surely required. If you will not fulfill that minute amount of this micronutrient, your body will show deficiency symptoms. So it is called as micro, but that micro is very, very important for your body to have it. So it is a rich source of fiber, which keeps your system clean, which removes toxins from your system. And vitamins and minerals have a very, very vital functions to support all your body organs, and of course, it enhances your immunity. So apart from that, it includes a dairy product. Dairy products are important for your calcium intake, because dairy food we consume every day. There are food which are rich in calcium, but that we don't consume every day. So calcium requirement is for every day. So whatever food you consume every day is very, very important. So dairy food products in that sense is very important, because it is giving you everyday calcium. So for calcium and other important minerals for your bones and teeth, dairy foods are very important. You can include dairy foods in any form. It is milk, yogurt, cheese, ice cream. Cheese is a concentrated source of, protein. So you should consume in the limited amount. Cream, of course, it is a quite fat rich, even though if it has a protein. So you should limit your amount. You cannot go overboard on these things. Then fluid, good hydration, as Ms. Ameena also told regarding the good hydration. Keep on checking your urine color. If it is yellowish, dark in color, that shows the dehydration symptom. So your urine color you can check, and you can make sure that your body is getting hydrated, enough to hydrate all your organs. All fluid counts here except alcohol. Alcohol dehydrates your body. Okay, so all type of fruit juices, lemonades, all these kind of beverages which are healthy, which are not very much overloaded with the sugar. So why we should consume balanced diet? Now I have told you all about the balanced diet. So why we should consume it? So first thing, it helps in maintain the healthy body weight. The second thing, it boosts your immunity and protect you against the diseases. The third, it reduces the risk of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, which are rampant, because of our lifestyle and the food choices. And then also it improves the energy and the sleep pattern. Sleep is very, very important, and sleep pattern we see in the youngsters are not good. They are awake for quite a long time and getting up late in the morning. So sleep pattern is very important aspect of health. It is counted in the nutrition also because it sets your body with the rest for the next day metabolism. So it's very important to sleep on time. So what we can say as an optimal nutrition status is your food intake and how food get absorbed in the body. Only your food intake will not decide your optimal nutrition status. Please remember this. If we are eating healthy, we also need to make sure that our body is getting, our body is absorbing it. So the food intake depends on, what kind of socioeconomic status we belong to, in what kind of emotions we are living today, what are the cultural practices we follow, what kind of peer pressures we have. So our food intake depends on that, and absorption, of course, depends on the environment around us, because of pollution and, other things, our absorption gets impacted. Any kind of disease, if we are suffering from, that impacts the absorption of nutrient. Our physiological stress, if we are under tremendous stress, our digestive system will not work properly and your absorption will not happen properly. So any kind of mechanical problem. So your food intake is, it should be absolutely right along with your absorption. So for proper absorption, you need to check what kind of health status you are in. So, and nutrient intake should be according to the nutrient requirement. Your nutrient requirement can be according to your age, your gender, your physical activity. These are the three major things through which you can have through which your nutrient requirement is decided. And your nutrient requirement is there for your body maintenance, because every day there is a wear and tear of the cells and tissue in the body, and for your overall well-being, also to fight against the infectious diseases or any kind of diseases. So with that, whatever wear and tear happens in the body, nutrition is a key to it, which takes care of the recovery part of it and sees to it that you are prevented from these diseases. So what are the principles of healthy living? The principles of healthy living, just in short, for the children or for the school children who are attending this webinar, make a switch from the sugary drinks to the water. Don't go for the carbonated beverages at all. As a nutritionist, I will suggest you all, don't take overload of sugar in your beverages what you are drinking. Instead, you can drink a water, and tender coconut water is very good. Choose colorful fruits and vegetable instead of junk food, as told in the first presentation also. Choose whole grain foods and limit food with the added sugar, specifically the packaged food, which is available in the supermarkets. You should avoid those kind of food. Once a while it is okay, not every day, because it's loaded with the trans fat, loaded with the sugar, loaded with the salt, which is causing a lot of blood pressure issues and other, lifestyle diseases. Choose food which has a healthy fat. Healthy fat means which has a coconut oil, which has a mustard oil, which has a ghee. So this kind, or which has a butter, which is non-refined and which is required for your body. Limit foods high in saturated fat and avoid food with the trans fat. Trans fat are basically into the packaged food which we consume from the superstore. Whatever we cook at home, we don't use, the fat does not get converted into trans fat, which is harmful, which is carcinogenic, which leads to the cancer. So eat a nutritious breakfast every morning. Very, very important for you to perform it academically good, to start your day with the right note, to become positive through the whole day. Your nutritious breakfast is very important. So it helps you in concentrating, whatever you are doing, and your mood to be very happy. So importance of breakfast is something which we should not overlook at all. You are getting late and you are only having one meal, which will impact your body. So it's not only about eating, it is about your performance also later. So be physically active every day, even though it is now work from home and you are taking classes online, but try to, play a little bit, try to do some yoga, exercise, skipping, if nothing else, climb stairs, go up and down. So these are some exercises which you can do it at home. Limit all the recreation time, TV, etc., which all the speakers have spoken, so I will not speak about that. And yes, as I told you, sleep is very, very important to recover, to have a good health. So the question is there any one miracle food or nutrient which can boost immunity? So the answer is no, because I have already told you the importance of balanced diet. All the nutrients are required in a balanced amount for our diet, which can boost our immunity. So now we'll come to the effect of nutrient on the immune system. So what nutrient does? I will be only talking about the few nutrients which are very important in this pandemic time, which impacts our immunity system. I think it will be very helpful for the parents and for the students who can look into their food by themselves. They should be aware, because this is something impacting their health. So I think as a children, you should also start taking interest in the food preparation, as well as what food you are consuming. Eat mindfully, not watching television or a phone or gadgets. You should know what is going inside your food. And that is why we Indians are great, because, we always know what we have cooked and what ingredient has gone in our food. So that is a traditional practice which we follow. So diet and nutrition are a very important factor in the promotion of and maintenance of a good health. We are talking about the prevention, because food is a very important aspect which can prevent you from many diseases if we follow it in a right way, and reducing the risk of chronic and infectious diseases throughout the life. So we all need to make a right kind of food choices. We should follow it throughout the life. We cannot do it like a diet. Okay, 1 week I did, and after this I'm not seeing any difference. No, this is a lifestyle which you need to imbibe, which you need to, practice it, so that you can see this, the fruits of this later in your life. Whatever you eat now, children, will reflect later in your age. So whatever we eat as children will reflect always after 30 years of age. So eating healthy and nutritious is very important in the beginning of the year, because that is going to reflect later on your health. So diet have a strong effect, both positive and negative. If you consume it in a right manner, it has a positive impact. If you consume in a wrong manner, it leads to the state of malnutrition. Either it will be undernutrition or it will be overnutrition. So physical activity also play a very important role in the health prevention and health promotion and the disease prevention. So the relationship between the nutrition and the infectious diseases is, when the infectious diseases the duration start expanding, the nutrition levels start depleting. So it impacts the nutritional status. The lack of specific nutrient may lead to the dysregulation or ineffective immune response and higher morbidity and mortality. Morbidity is the diseases. You can see many diseases because your nutrition was not okay. And also it can be fatal if you are not following. So for example, I'm just giving this slide as an example. Obesity is one form of malnutrition, which happens when we make a wrong food choices and which leads to many comorbidities. as you have heard in the COVID scenario, that people who are impacted by severity of COVID is the people who have comorbidities. So what are these comorbidities? So obesity leads to many other diseases. So for example, respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, kidney, etc., etc. So these are the diseases which are result of obesity, because you have gained more weight. So because of those weight, you are getting these diseases. And people who have these diseases have more severe symptoms of COVID-19. Okay, so this is just the reference down, which I have just brought it to your notice, just to tell you the importance of nutrient. So as you can see here in this slide, the immune system is basically, it is a very complex system involving all the cells in the body, and all the cells in the body are basically a result, their action is a result of nutrition. So the tips, how we can support our immune system. So the tips to support the immune system is maintain a balanced diet. So you should have a balanced diet. I have already spoken that how you should have a balanced diet. Wash your hands. So you need to maintain your hygiene. Then get adequate rest. I'm talking about sleep again and again. 7 hours of sleep is must for you all to body, so that your body can recover from the wear and tear and the stress which you have gone through the previous day, and your body is ready again to take up the metabolism. And then exercise is very important. 30 minutes of a moderate activity to boost your immune system. It's not only about the food, it is a combination of these things. So these are some simple tips which you all can follow. And yes, of course, hydration. So hydration is very, very important. At least 2.5 liters of water you should consume in a day. So we'll just quickly talk about some of the very important nutrient which plays important role specifically to build up your immune system, because my session is nutrition for health promotion. So protein plays an important role in body's immune system. It is very important for healing and recovering of the cells and tissues in your body. And, it also maintains the lymphoid structure and such as the gut mucosa. Daily intake of 1 gram per kg body weight is what is recommended for everyone. And you can add variety of food to fulfill your protein requirement, where the main sources are milk and milk products, meat item, pulses, beans, nuts, etc. So these are the major sources. So without sufficient protein, the body, without sufficient protein to make antibodies, the immune system loses out the ability to fight against the infections. So protein is important in sufficient amount in the body. Followed by, if there is a deficiency of vitamins and minerals, it also diminishes the immune response. So vitamins and mineral also important, and interaction between these nutrients may enhance or impair the immunity. So all these nutrients together, when they interact inside the body, it basically repairs or enhances your immunity. So optimal immunity depends on the optimal nutrition, enough but not too much of each of the nutrient. That is the key. That is why I have brought balanced diet into the picture. So people with the weakened immune system, such as elderly, vulnerable group, may benefit from the nutrition diet and supplement of the selected nutrients. So people who have a weakened immune system, like old people or people who are having some kind of disease, they can have a nutritious diet, and as per the doctor's recommendation, they can have some supplement to cure their deficiency and then build it up with the food intake. So now next, very important nutrient which is required to build up your immunity is zinc. So zinc, the health status affected by zinc transporting protein. So your health status is, it will get impacted if you don't have zinc in the body. Zinc boosts immune response by activating certain immune cells. It blocks the replication of viruses. So viruses, for example, coronavirus, if your zinc load is good in the body, you have the ability to fight this virus, because it will stop the replication of the virus. Then vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids, which are found in fish, are very, very important for the immunity purpose. Zinc can be taken as a supplement, but we would prescribe if you are deficient in zinc and you want to just come to that level. And after that, you can build it up with the food. Nuts are very good source of zinc. So handful of nut each child should be consuming every day in any form. It is good to soak badam in a water and then peel it in the overnight and peel it in the morning and eat it. It is very good to give you a boost of zinc. So next we'll move on to the requirement of the zinc. It is for girls, it is 100 mg, or for women and for boys it is 12 mg. There are different food listed here which are the sources of the zinc. Oyster is among the highest. Oyster is the source which is among the one of the sources which has the highest amount of zinc. Then we come to the vitamin D. You must have heard of a lot of vitamin D stories during the COVID time. So vitamin D is very, very crucial to activate our immune responses, especially the T cells, which are responsible for the immunity. And very good sources is a free of cost. It is vitamin D through the sunlight. But we need to spend time in the sunlight for 20 minutes every day. And apart from that, there are food sources like salmon, etc. Mushrooms are very good source of vitamin D. So these are some of the vitamin D rich sources: eggs, mushroom, etc., which are rich source of vitamin D. Then we come to vitamin C. Vitamin C also, you must have heard, people who are suffering from COVID-19, they are on the vitamin C supplementation. Doctors immediately start the vitamin C tablets. So it has been given as a treatment in the hospitals. So Dr. Weber has noted that it makes all the sense in the world to try and maintain the patient level of vitamin C, because when they suffer from sepsis, it is an inflammatory response that occurs when their bodies overreact to the infection. So the vitamin C levels drops as you have the infection of the coronavirus. So that is why it is very important to give the vitamin C doses. So where we find vitamin C? Vitamin C is all around us. It is in spinach, it is in broccoli, it is in all citrus food. This is a season for orange. Orange is such a good fruit which can give you a lot of vitamin C. Apart from orange, it is a guava season. Guava is again another good source of vitamin C. So I will show you what are the good sources of vitamin C. Capsicum of any color is good in vitamin C. So, vitamin C is a rich source of capsicum are rich source of vitamin C, beta carotene, etc. And vitamin C boosts immunity and beta carotene, and it aids in the health of your skin and the eyes. And a lot of traditional Chinese medicines, they contain, capsicum only for this reason. So the vitamin C rich foods, you can see here kiwi and you can see guava, and you can compare the amount of vitamin C present in kiwi and you can see in guava. You can see many fold of vitamin C in a guava than the kiwi. But when we go to supermarket, we pick up the kiwi, which has traveled, all over from a long distance, and which is not fresh when it reaches to us. And here you can see the vitamin C level is 3 times more. This is a local guava, which is grown locally. And to tell you all as a nutritionist, if we consume food which is locally grown and which has not traveled much, it gives us a maximum benefit of the nutrient. It is very good to, eat something which is freshly harvested. But if we cannot, at least we can select or we can pick the, food which is locally grown and locally harvested. So guava is a 3 times more vitamin C than the kiwi. You can compare and you can choose your fruit. Now, the next very important source of vitamin C is a gooseberry or amla. This is a season, winter is a season for this, and this is like a life-giving fruit. which is very important, which has been given a lot of importance in our traditional meal, and it has been talked a lot about in Ayurveda, etc. This is a kind of a fruit which gives us a punch of vitamin C, and it has a good amount of antioxidant. So you can, this time it is fresh in the market. I request parents to buy this, and they can prepare anything out of it and try to feed their children for their vitamin C requirement. Is one of the most important source of vitamin C which is available in India. Rather than consuming vitamin C tablet, which gives you vitamin C apart, and also along with that many other chemicals. So you can see this is a table which shows when we consume amla as a fresh, what is the level of vitamin C, and when we consume it in the shredded form, pulp, or in the candy form, which is available mostly in the market, the vitamin C level reduces because it is a water soluble vitamin which has an impact on the processing. So in the crux, what I would like to say is you should consume amla fresh to get the maximum benefit of the amla. So now we come to the gut health and the immunity. Why I have brought this here into the picture, because I wanted to talk about the probiotic, which is very important to improve your immunity. So 70 to 80% of our immune cells, they live in the gastrointestinal tract in our body. And to build up the probiotic, which are good bacteria which support our immunity system, you can have the milk products, which are basically home set curd. Home set curd, which has a more lactobacilli, and which basically helps in the prevention of the infectious diseases, and it's build up your immunity. And other type of probiotics which are available is Yakult, you must have seen, kefir, apart from that, some fermented soya product which is available in the market. So there are many, set curd is available in the market. So there are many things which is available in the market in the form of fermented milk products, but the best source will be the home set curd, which can be consumed in the form of buttermilk or in the form of curd itself, which should be freshly set and eaten along with the lunch. So now, looking at this presentation, I think you must have got an idea that what are the specific nutrient or what are the specific food which need to be keep in mind when we are talking about the infectious diseases. So now the key messages to take from this presentation is: eat a nutritious diet and stay hydrated. So you should consume 3 meals in a day, 3 little big meal, and 2 meals in between the 3 meals, which will be a small snack, which is a small healthy snack. So you should have a total 5 meals in a day. Each meal should comprise of 1 item from the energy giving, bodybuilding, and protective food. I'm not going in detail because Miss Ameena has already talked about this. Limit consumption of the processed food, which is high in fat, high in sugar, high in salt. As I told you, supermarket is full of, even though they claim that they are the food which gives you health and which is preservative free, etc., etc. So limit intake of iodized salt to only 5 grams. That is 1 teaspoon of salt you can use throughout the day. Stay hydrated. Intake of caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, and other addictive substances should be restricted or not to be taken at all. So you can see the hydration is so important because our body is made out of water. And you can see slowly the water decreases as we grow old. So water is a very important component of our body. It has to be replenished. So second message is swap a healthy alternative with the fresh fruits and vegetable. If in case fresh fruits and vegetables are not available. So in case if that is not available, you can rely on dry beans, various types of pulses, some kind of dehydrated vegetables, which can be tasty and affordable. So you can rely on, chickpeas, etc., rajma, black chana, etc., for giving the nutrition. You can use the oats for the, breakfast, either with the yogurt or with the milk. And then you can, yes, of course, sprouts, sprouts are very, very important because it enhances the vitamin C level. So during the sprouting process, the legume synthesizes vitamin C. So vitamin C increases a lot when the legume is sprouted. So sprouting and fermenting the food is a very important traditional methods by which we can enhance the nutrition level of the food. So the whole emphasis should be on the whole foods. We should consume the whole foods, not the refined one. So the third key message is low cost healthy recipes. You can look into the locally grown things which are in season, because whatever is in season is the cheap and the best, it carries best nutrient. So don't look for the apples which has traveled from a long distance coated with the wax. Don't look into the quinoa which has come from a distance, and you should look for the local oranges which comes from the Nagpur, apple which comes from the Kashmir. So you should be choosing the food mindfully, thinking that it should, because you eat food to provide you nutrition. So you should know how to choose right kind of food. So you should be aware regarding the local varieties and the season in which food is available. So the fourth point is immunity boosters. You need to include immunity boosters in your diet. I think most of the parents have started doing it, adding ginger, turmeric, garlic, cinnamon, etc. in the diet, which is a very good, ingredients which are rich in antioxidant and which prevents you from the infectious diseases. Then the fifth one is physical activity. As I told again and again, for children, it is very important. Even though if you are indoor, you can do yoga, you can do aerobics, you can do dancing, you can do stretching exercises. And don't forget, you have to have sunlight you can sit anytime in sun from between 11 to 1 p.m. for 30 to 40 minutes. You need to expose yourself in the sun to take that free vitamin D, which is available to us. But due to ignorance, we don't pay much attention to this. So you can go to your courtyard, your balcony, your terrace to take this sunlight. Exercise is a very good, kind of rejuvenation activity which you can do with the family. Don't compromise on your sleep. For de-stress, you can do a meditation or yoga. So the art of balancing is all about, how to prevent this kind of situation, this kind of health crisis. So you need to balance, and the nutrition is the key to immunity. To build up your immunity, you cannot build up your immunity with anything else. And the balancing act is with the physical activity, with right kind of food choices, etc., etc. So the art of balancing is all about the quantity, how much you're consuming, quality, which type of quality, as I just now told you all, that how you should buy the local quality for the best nutrient benefits, and the frequency, how often you are consuming it. So this art of balancing comprise of these three things: quantity, quality, and frequency. So for your information, 1 kilocalories of 1 gram of carbohydrate gives us 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of protein gives us 4 kilocalories, but 1 gram of fat gives us 9 kilocalories. So you should know how to balance this macronutrient in your diet. So the ways to optimize your immunity is to strengthen your immune system and to stay healthy, so that your defense system in the body should get strengthened. So to do so, do regular exercise, have immune boosting diet comprising of a balanced mix of macro and micronutrients, and it should be a natural preference. You should not think that you are doing a diet, you have to eat this, because it should be a natural preference. You should get used to eating home cooked, freshly prepared food, which gives you maximum benefit. So to everyone, maintain social distance, stay safe, and stay healthy. So it is like everything what you drink, what you eat or drink, you are either feeding a disease, you are causing a disease or you are fighting it, as told by the Morgan. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hemavati ma'am, you're on mute.
Hema, please unmute.
Sorry. A big thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, for your advice on the foods we must take and the habits we need to follow in these very trying and testing times. We will certainly try to include the immunity boosting foods in our daily diet so that together we can beat the dangers of the pandemic and ensure health and wellness in our homes.
Thank you, Mrs. Hemavati. Thank you, Professor Ameena Zarar, Mrs. Manju Goel, and Dr. Sangeeta Pandey for all the suggestions, guidance, and advice on leading a healthy life. Now I request Mrs. Shanida to present the questions posed by the audience to our guest speakers.
Thank you, Rita ma'am. Our eminent speakers, we have received a lot of questions, positive feedback, and words of appreciation along with the questions. A big thank you for this enriching session. For the questions, the first one, this is to Professor Ameena Zarar. How accurate are the nutritional facts on the labels? Is Jaggery a healthier substitute for sugar? Professor Ameena Zarar.
Thank you, Shanida. So it is extremely important to understand that when we go to the supermarket, sometimes we do buy food which has been packaged and kept on the shelf. But among the choices we have to pick the ones that is going to contain the key nutrient you are looking for in the biggest quantity, and avoid certain terms which if I may mention, such as saturated fat should be low. If you are comparing a product, comparing two labels, you should pick the one with the lowest saturated fat in it. You should pick the one with the lowest sodium in it. And you should also pick something that has a greater amount of the key ingredient you are looking for. Sometimes the labels are misleading. Unfortunately, law has allowed for a minimum error, which means if you are looking for something which has 100 kilocalorie label, the possibility is that it is actually going to give you 120 calories, but has been labeled as 100 calories. So, which is why all shelf food is not recommended to be utilized liberally. You should be judicious as to what can you prepare at home and store, refrigerate and use over a period of 1 week, 10 days, and prepare again for your convenience. And what are the kinds of food that you have to procure for yourself from the market? If you can mix this and avoid, to whatever possible extent, buying shelved food and preparing most of your food within your kitchen, within the means of your supervision, within the knowledge that you have, it makes for a better meal and a more nutritious one, because any packaged meal also loses its nutritive value over time. So having answered the question of the nutrition label, I would like to address the second question, which says, is Jaggery a healthier substitute for sugar? Okay, a sugar or a Jaggery, when you add it into any meal, it is going to sweeten the meal. When you are making an effort to sweeten something, between the two, Jaggery and sugar, sugar is going to be empty calories, whereas Jaggery is going to have some amount of vitamin and mineral, which are the B complex minerals that we are going to consider in a small amount. However, it does not mean that anybody can use Jaggery liberally. Same goes for date syrups, honey. It should not be confused with an option which has lower sugar quantity. No, it has the same amount of sugar going into your food, but with slightly better value for it. Sugar will have no additional value except calories. Jaggery instead will have a little bit of a sweetener as well as a little bit of mineral and B complex vitamins, what we call. So if you have to replace between the two, Jaggery is a better option. And it is not advisable for diabetics to think of Jaggery as a completely replaceable item on their menu and think that they are supposed to avoid sugar, but they can take honey, they can take Jaggery. There is a misconception about this. Let's have it clarified. A lot of people I know have been in this misconception that Jaggery and honey can be liberally used and not sugar. It is not so. So these two are important. I hope I have answered the question. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you, Ameena ma'am, for the valuable inputs. Now we will go to the next question, which is to Ms. Manju Goel. Are there any specific techniques to cope with anxiety?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Manju ma'am.
Okay. So, of course, there are specific techniques to cope with anxiety. First, we need to understand the anxiety symptoms that we had discussed. We need to understand what is the cause of an anxiety. Where is it coming from? And once we understand, depending on, what is the symptom that we are experiencing, is it a behavioral symptom, is it a cognitive symptom, or is it a physical symptom, or is it an emotional symptom? So based on what we experience and based on that, we work around coping with anxiety. So behavioral issues is handled in a certain way. Once we understand, then we figure out, like say, due to anxiety, some people have the habit of eating a lot, they tend to binge into when they're very anxious. So we need to understand, so there is the cognitive, if we understand the cognitive triangle, it will give us more clarity into understanding anxiety. So now the cognitive triangle has thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Now, if you're anxious about something and your behavior is that you're eating too much, what we need to figure out is what is the thought behind this behavior. What is that is making us, are we scared of something? And is there something else that is making us, or we need to understand what is holding our mind space because of which we are behaving in that manner. So now thought is something that is generated in the head, in the mind. Okay, now based on this thought, we will understand what the feeling is something that you experience in the body. So maybe there is excessive sweating, or there is fear, and you experience that in your body. That's when the outcome of that is feeling is your behavior in which you're binge eating. So once you have clarity, then we will go and address that thought. That thought which is creating anxiety, we'll have to replace that thought. We'll have to find out if that thought is actually a rational thought or not. And depending on what we understand of that thought, and then we replace it with a rational thought. So when the thought changes, then the feeling changes. Then we experience it very differently in our body, and automatically when the feeling changes, our behavior changes. Then you will no longer be, you will catch yourself that, when you're feeling different, that you no longer are, binging or eating too much. So that is the way, if you understand what is the thought that is causing the anxiety, you will be able to work with anxiety. I hope
Thank you, Manju ma'am, for this valuable and illustrative explanation. We will now go to the next question. That's to Dr. Sangeeta Pandey, my 7-year-old is a fussy eater. To boost his immunity, can I give him some multivitamins on regular basis?
Sorry. So multivitamins, I don't think so. You can give it for the regular basis. You can only continue for 3 months as per the doctor's advice. And after that, you have to stop. Your long-term intervention will be through food only. You can give turmeric milk in the night. That will be a good option to boost the immunity, which you can boil, which is a traditional method. Incorporate turmeric, boil it and give it to your child. You can give it in the morning. You can give it in the evening. It enhances the sleep cycle also. So that will be a good immunity booster. In the winters, you can, boost the immunity through the food. You can, have a nuts laddu, you can have a til laddu, you can have a Jaggery laddu. So there are many foods which are available. You can give a fistful of nuts every day along with the turmeric milk, which will be a good immunity booster for your 7-year-old child, and who will enjoy it, eating it. If he is not eating nuts, you can crush the nuts and make along with the as a laddu along with the Jaggery, and you can give it along with the milk, because I'm sure your 7-year-old must be drinking milk. So you can just make a little change in the milk and add turmeric, and you can give as an immunity booster. I hope I have answered a question.
Yes, of course, Sangeeta ma'am. Thank you for the valuable inputs and the added information for the household remedies too. Thank you. Due to paucity of time, we need to have this one more question, which is to Professor Ameena Zarar. I'm a mother of a 12-year-old boy. He has been diagnosed with lactose intolerance recently. What food can I give him as a substitute for milk?
Thank you for the question, Shanita. I'm going to reiterate the facts in the question that you have given me. The boy is 12 years of age, so all his nutrition does not depend on the supply of milk in his diet, which means he is able to procure his balanced meal on a daily basis via other sources, such as his wholesome breakfast, lunch, and dinner options. Unfortunately, he is not able to consume cow's milk or buffalo milk, which is usually the norm in every household, easy to get and very convenient for all of us. But because he might be fond of drinking milk and you're not able to offer him the cow's milk, it is a good idea to indulge him in soy milk when you need to. You could flavor it. You could also indulge in almond milk or cashew milk, coconut milk. These are other options. Sometimes the child wants to eat cheese, which is also made up of cow's milk, or he wants to have curd, which is also made up of cow's milk. Now, in those places, sometimes the process of fermenting for cheese or the process of fermenting for curd does not usually irritate the gut. The child could take a small portion of it and see if it actually irritates him, or if it is acceptable, because it has now changed form due to fermentation. If yes, then it is better to avoid cow's cheese and go for goat cheese, which is a much better option if the child is facing maybe an upset stomach or some of those symptoms which present themselves when he is using the cow's milk or the buffalo milk. But apart from that, the child is able to enjoy all meats, eggs, and all other sources of protein. So if I were the mother, I would not be worried, except that I'm not able to give him a milkshake, for which I can substitute the milk with soy milk. You might have to buy it off the shelf, keep it in the home, and use that for him separately. A little bit of an inconvenience, but you are able to give him that supply of protein through another form, not essentially through cow's milk. Similarly, goat cheese is available in the market. You could bring it in, try it with the child. These are the two things usually children miss, where they like to have pizzas and you have to grate the cheese on the pizza. They want it lots, they don't want it only little. So looking at it practically, I feel these are the ways you can handle these problems. All other nutritional benefits are available within the breakfast, lunch, and dinner options of the child. I hope I have answered the question. Thank you, Shanita.
Thank you, Ameena ma'am. You have helped us to gain knowledge a little bit more deeper. And thank you all for this informative session for us. And over to Rita ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Shanida. To speak gratitude is courteous and pleasant. To enact gratitude is generous and noble, but to live gratitude is to touch heaven. Mrs. Nicolina Chandy will now propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all. Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for. First of all, we would like to thank Almighty God for all the blessings bestowed upon us. Our heartfelt thanks to Professor Ameena Zarar, Mrs. Manju Goel, and Dr. Sangeeta Pandey for being with us today and for enlightening us on the importance of physical and mental well-being during these trying times. We will certainly bear in mind and put to use the valuable insights you shared with us this evening. Thank you. Grateful thanks to our dear principal, Reverend Father Sunil Fernandes, for his continued guidance and encouragement. Thank you, Father, for being a mentor and guide to us. We truly appreciate the Vice Principal, Mr. Uday Kumar, for his constant support and involvement. Thank you, sir. Our gratitude and sincere appreciation to the team of teachers who were responsible for organizing today's program. A big thank you to our IT team, Mr. Roshan and Mr. Muniraju, for their technical and logistic support. Last but not the least, thank you, dear parents, for your constant support and cooperation in making every event a success. Thank you. God bless and keep us all safe.